Welcome back to Eastern Newsbeat. Tricia Ziemer reporting, and we're at the ANZAC Appeal. And I am with 5 generations of men who have been in the Army, Navy and Air Force. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, if you can just go through and say your names and what your titles are,
Yes.
your formal titles, that would be lovely.
Peter Hutchison, able seaman in the Navy.
Bill Hutchison, Petty Officer Stoker, Navy.
James Hutchison, Lance Corporal in the Australian Army.
Glenn Hutchison, I was in the Army Reserves in artillery.
Alex Hutchison, able seaman, maritime logistics supply chain. Currently serving in the Navy.
Now, why the passion?
I think it's in the blood. And no one actually started to join, we just joined by ourselves. We actually sort of nicked off a bit to join, actually. We tried to talk them out of it, but they won't listen. And we didn't either. So.
I have a daughter like that.
Yeah, Peter was only 17 when he joined. And I was going to join the Army. I'd been up in Darwin during the war. I was coming home on holiday, and I thought, bugger going back up there, I'll join the Army. And I walked past the Navy first, I thought I'll try them. So I went straight in.
Oh, good on you. Yeah. And how did you join?
Well, I spent probably about a year out of high school, and then I decided to join the Army actually. So different to my dad and granddad, Navy, I suppose I rebelled.
Oh, the rebellious one in the family.
So that was pretty good.
And yourself?
Well, I was in the Army Reserves. I basically joined after high school, like straight away, to test it out, and loved it. Yeah.
And what about you?
Similar to James. I had a year out of high school, nothing really going for me, so I thought, give it a crack, and 4 years later, it's good. So still serving.
And enjoying.
Yeah, enjoying it. Yeah.
So, combined years of all of you together within the armed forces.
I was 10 years.
I was 10 years. I was 10 years.
I was 8 years.
I would have been 7.
Yeah, 4.
And we got that a few minutes ago. Now, why is this ANZAC Appeal so important to you all?
We just like the idea of helping out and supporting ex-servicemen, current servicemen, like the speech before.
Welcome, Marty Grogan. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Now, apparently you're the oldest serving sailor.
It appears so, as much as we can ascertain on the older serving sailors, certainly in Victoria, and I would think in Australia as well, yeah.
So tell me your journey through that.
52 years, joined as a young sailor here at HMA Service in Melbourne at 17 years of age, just turned 17, that was in 1963, and kept going right through. I've been very lucky, I've had 3 different career changes within that to enable me to stay on.
Oh, well done.
And I'm now running the Navy Museum. So I'm no longer operational, and I no longer have to go to sea, which is good. You get a bit old for that sort of stuff. And I'm the manager of the Navy Museum at HMA Service.
So what action did you see during the war?
We did our first trip to Borneo for a part of the Indonesian confrontation in 1964. We were young boys, we joined up for 3 months. We did 3 months initial training and then shipped straight out to sea. So we were in a war zone at 17 and a half years of age.
I was just about to ask, how old were you?
Yeah, 17 and a half.
Yeah. And what was probably the most cherished moment that you have from the war?
Oh, I don't know about a cherished moment, but my big brother was on the same ship, so I had him there to look after me. We come from Melbourne here. There was only 3 boys, so both of us did that Borneo trip. It was known as a Borneo trip in support of the Indonesian confrontation. Not much was known about it then, nor to this day either. It's been pretty well kept secret.
Okay. We'll keep it a little bit more secret.
The ship I was on, HMA Sydney, that was converted to a fast troop transport to go to Vietnam. And after that Borneo trip in 1964, HMA Sydney started going to Vietnam in 65 right through to 1971. And it did 25 trips to Vietnam, carrying Australian Army troops, Air Force and equipment. It did 25 individual trips to Vietnam.
Now, and why is this ANZAC Appeal so important to you?
I have a son serving, so that's very important. He's done 28 years service. He's commanding officer of a Navy ship, So it's very important to all of us, particularly as a family. And my father served, my grandfather served, and we're a big Navy family. And the RSL is very important to our well-being and to the future, and particularly when the current serving ones get out, they will be needing help later on, and the RSL is always there to help.
So we're back here with Marty Grogan once again, and we're explaining what this banner is all about.
This is the first official Royal Australian Navy banner ever produced. It was produced not long after the First World War, so it is very close to 100 years old. It's on display at the Museum of HMA Cerberus, and it is now, I'm taking it up today to Sydney to go on display up in Sydney for the 100th year, so it's going on a permanent display up in Sydney. It's the only one of its kind in Australia, and it's known as the first RAN bridging train, and they went into Gallipoli. They were in there setting it all up even before the actual ANZACs landed, and they were known as first in and last out because they were the last out of Gallipoli as well. They dismantled all the bridges and all the things that they built, so they were known as the first in and last out, and they were all naval people.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.